What's going on, beautiful people? I don't know which one of y'all is physically abusing your dog, but
my dog whines. He doesn't bark, he whines. My girlfriend just left, so he watches out the window and cries at her.
I'm just playing. Welcome to another episode of the BMR NBA show. My name is Junior Browne, back from my technical difficulties of yesterday. Jordan, sorry I left you flying solo. I was trying to log on, bruh. It just wasn't, the system wasn't having it. We got our guy, Kyle Purviance, back in the building, checking in from the great state of Oregon. Jordan, I'll kick it over to you over there in Indiana. What's poppin'? How'd you do yesterday? How was your day?
1-1 on the official picks, but if you followed my lead yesterday, and I said this, wait for the Kyrie and Harden news to become official before you hit the first half under in that Brooklyn game. If we would have got that closing line, you would have went 2-0 yesterday, because our other pick, the Cleveland Cavaliers, just absolutely smacked up the Utah Jazz. Jazz have some problems right now. I was kind of a little higher on the Jazz, I think, than most people at the beginning of the season. I think I now see why most people have kind of started to downgrade them in a little bit, because they're only one or two of their main players sitting out from being just a slightly above average team. And the Cavs showed why that was the case last night. Absolutely had a huge front court advantage and took advantage of the Utah Jazz. Should have sprinkled a little bit on that one. But, no problem on flying solo yesterday. We kind of ended up, a lot of my leans ended up hitting that under in New York Dallas. Wish I would have jumped on that. The Charlotte winning outright was kind of saying I was leaning towards the Hornets too. So good day. Wish it would have been better for me personally, but hope you guys went 2-0 yesterday on my picks yesterday. How about you, Kyle? How'd you end up?
Man, I'm salty. I'm salty about yesterday. I get up, I get excited. I get 50 free spins on my book, right? I'm enjoying myself. I hit those 50 free spins. I'm like, well, let's put this on an under 236.5. And the goddamn Bulls can't play any defense. I tune into the game late. I'm like, oh, the Bulls only have 97. Oh, wait a second. The Nets are going to score 350 points by them damn selves tonight. So I went 0-1. It was a painful loss. I'm still salty about it. But you got to have a short memory. Just like an NFL quarterback, on to better things today. Glad to be here with you, fellas.
That in mind, we're here for today's games. That's why y'all are here. So Esteban, whenever you're ready, my brother, let's kick it with the Warriors and the Bucks, two of the best teams in the NBA. Warriors can be argued are the best team in the league right now. Bucks are the defending champions. This is a pretty interesting matchup. I'll kick it over to Kyle this time. Get your opinion on this game. I do have a play here, but I want to hear from you guys first.
Well, something weird just happened, so I'm not sure. Maybe you guys know about this or someone in the chat box. I was here perusing at BetMGM looking at player props. They had all these Bucks props up, and they just took every Bucks player down on the player props. So I'm not exactly sure why it's only Golden State Warriors. I was looking at that Giannis prop over 11.5 rebounds. Especially if Draymond Green's not going to be there. But all of a sudden they took him down. So I'm not sure if there's something weird going on with the Bucks, but maybe it's just something to keep an eye on. It's awfully strange when the book pulls all the players down, right? I sort of lean Milwaukee here. Hasn't Milwaukee always had Golden State's number when they're really good? Weren't they the team ending the winning streaks back in that 73-9 season? The Golden State would have a 22-game win streak, and they'd play a crappy Bucks team, and the Bucks would find a way to beat them. Unless Draymond Green's a full go, I think Giannis will have his way on the inside. I sort of lean the Bucks here. I didn't do an official play on this. These are two good teams. Sometimes I just get these good games. I just want to sit back and watch and not stress the hell out. I would have a lean to the under. These are two good defensive teams. So I do think the under is absolutely in play here. And if that Giannis prop comes back up, I think he gets 12 rebounds pretty easy. Should have no problem cleaning up the glass. Slight lean to the Bucks and a slight lean to the under. And I like the Giannis prop if it comes back up. But keep an eye on what's going on there, because it's very strange that BetMGM just dropped all the player props for the Bucks.
I think I may have a insight on that. It's nothing official yet, but they did just sign a new 10-day contract, and then they just listed Drew Holiday is officially out, but George Hill has now been upgraded to questionable. So I don't know. That could be one of the reasons why. But I thought we kind of knew that Drew was going to be out anyway. Yeah, so it's really George Hill just being upgraded to questionable, which does just have an effect, because we talked about this the last time I think Kyle was on the show. Like, The Bucks, without their top 2 point guards, man, their offense runs through Middleton and Giannis, but down the stretch of games that just hasn't really been working out for them too well. So getting Hill back as kind of a calming presence on that end of the court at least a little bit, and give Giannis and Middleton a little bit more chance to play off the ball a little bit more, I think is probably an upgrade for them. But yeah, I do have a play on this game, not just to lean. I have the under 224. I think Hill being back even helps that just a little bit, because they really didn't have anybody to guard Steph, and now if he can play and is back in shape after health and safety protocols, he could be a better check on him. I mean, these are two teams top 5 in defense in their respective spots here tonight. Golden State's 3rd on the road, Milwaukee 5th at home. This is going to be a playoff style of game. Milwaukee up there is going to be rocking tonight. I think you could kind of tell that here, and just in pace wise, I think even the faster pace of tonight's game doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be a huge amount of points. I think both these teams coming in rested also helps as well. So I think that in mind, I hope we see kind of a slower pace tonight. I know without Draymond Green, that's a little bit of a question for Golden State defensively with trying to stop Giannis, which you mentioned, Kyle. But they do have some guys that they can throw around here. That they're not going to stop Giannis whatsoever, but I think they can slow down Middleton enough to make this an underplay. I was surprised to see this up in the mid 220s, and it started to come down a little bit. I think there's a good reason for that. I have this game at about 218.5 points tonight, so I think you're getting a lot of value at 223.5 where you're still sitting at on tonight. So yeah, official for me under 224 on this one.
Yeah, that's an official for me too, under 224. I think that's too many points in the situation. The Warriors have been struggling lately, but it's not because of their defense, actually because of their offense. They're averaging 95 points a game in the last 4. They've only won 1 out of those last 4 games. And the Bucks are going to bring that defensive intensity themselves, especially in a home game. This is going to be a playoff-like atmosphere. I see this game ending somewhere in the 215 to 218 range. I think 224 is just too many points. You take out Drew Holiday from that equation. You take out Draymond from that equation. Just less fluidity. Yeah. I was on the under immediately, so I'm glad to see Jordan's on it too. Unless you guys have anything else, though, let's move on to this next game. Wolves and Grizzlies, another game that I have an official play on. I'll kick it over to Jordan this time to get his thoughts, then over to Kyle, and then I'll give him my pick.
I just have a lean on this game. I want to bet the under here. Going against this team, I think, is a little bit concerning here. And as combined with that, if Steven Adams doesn't play tonight, who's in their right mind is slowing down Cat here for this Grizzlies team? I mean, they have a couple of nice young bigs, and Jaren Jackson, like we mentioned last time with these Grizzlies, is going to get a lot of small ball center time, but it's not going to be enough against Towns. Jackson Jr. is probably giving up at least 3 inches and 30 or 40 pounds to Karl Anthony Towns, and that's going to be a problem down low. And if the Wolves are kind of controlling that area of the court, and on top of that, obviously the Grizzlies still missing Dylan Brooks, which defensively I think against Anthony Edwards is going to hurt them. So advantage Wolves in both of those matchups. And then I mean, I don't think Ja Morant is going to have trouble slowing down D'Angelo Russell, but the fact that he's going to have to work a lot on the defensive end may hurt his offense a little bit as well. So I came in, kind of first looked at this line. I said 4.5 points. That just seems like it's not enough. Give me the Grizz 9 times out of 10 in that. And the more I look about it, the more I kind of dive into it a little bit more. If the Wolves can right the ship defensively, which has been an Achilles heel of them on the road this season, they've been terrible, definitely below average, if not bottom third of the league in most stats on the road defensively here this season. But if they can come with an effort tonight defensively that is mirrored what they do in front of their own home court, they could very well get the cover here, and I think the under could have some good value if that's the case as well. But if they allow the Grizzlies to dictate pace, if they allow the Grizzlies to control this game from the opening tip and spread Minnesota out and just kind of pick them apart in that regard, I think it could go over for sure. But once again, it's kind of like looking at last night's Bulls-Nets game where you had a total in the 230s, and yeah, totals have been starting to come back up a little bit. We hit the floor with the unders here earlier in the season, and that is started to correct itself. But 231 points is still a ton of points for these two basketball teams, especially a Grizzlies team whose defense is very, very good at home, and I think can have the ability to slow down Minnesota. But I don't think I'm going to lay the points with the Grizzlies tonight and try to continue. I think they can continue that win streak here, but if I had to play on this game, I'd have to go with the under here. But I got to know if Adams is going to play first because I think that's kind of the first domino to fall in all this.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. I'll just jump in here. I didn't know if Junior was going to graciously lead me in. I just, what the hell do I know? I'm getting old. My brain's not working great. I agree. I lean the under here as well. Doesn't this feel like a trap? It just feels like a damn trap. It has it written all over it. Memphis has won 10 games in a row. They're red hot. Ja Morant's been awesome. I know the Dylan Brooks situation, but Kyle Anderson has come back, filled in nicely. I kind of like his prop. Over 17.5 points, rebounds, and assists. If Kyle Anderson can get to 10 points, he's going to crush that because he will get the rebounds. He will get the assists. Last 2 games that he's played while Dylan Brooks is out, usage rate of 19 and 17%. So we're getting your 20% usage rate there. In his last 4 games against Minnesota, in 3 of those 4 games, he's had 33 or more fantasy points. So I like the Kyle Anderson prop here. Also, Karl Anthony Towns, a rebound prop, over 8.5, minus 140 at BetMGM. It's juiced up a little bit, 8.5 rebounds, especially if Steven Adams isn't in this game. I think he could smash that. My lean would be to Memphis. I would go the first half and make this a 1 possession. Memphis minus 2.5 in the first half. It feels like a trap, though. Something feels fishy here because Memphis is so much better. I mean, Memphis is right now the 3 seed in the Western Conference, if I remember right. They're the 3 seed in the conference. They've won 10 straight games. They've been red hot. They're good at home. They're good on the road. When you look at Minnesota, not terrible on the road, 9-11, but a team that gives up near 110 points a game. Memphis should get it done, but it feels like a trap. I'm going to take a couple props. The one I like the best, Kyle Anderson, over 17.5, minus 120. And I'm with you guys. I lean the under 230, but even then, that still makes me just a little bit nervous.
Yeah, listen, there's a couple of things that I like in this game, honestly. My official play is on the Grizzlies in the first half. I'm laying the points with the Grizzlies in the first half, but I like the first half under as well. 118.5 points is the first half total. That's a lot of points. And both of these teams have actually been pretty good defensively. If anything, when you look at Minnesota's roster, you think offense because of Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Edwards, but the reality is they've actually been getting it done with their defense. Their defense is way ahead of their offense right now. So I think in this spot, it's hard for me to look at Minnesota just simply because even though they've been playing better, like Kyle mentioned, I mean, Minnesota's ahead of Utah right now in the Western Conference standing. When did you really think you'd see that almost halfway through a season? So they have to be taken seriously. If you look, I always preach quality of wins. Like, yeah, you've won a bunch of games in a row, but who have you beaten? Well, they've beaten the best 2 teams in the West. They beat Golden State during the streak. They've beaten Phoenix during this streak. They've beaten Brooklyn during this streak. They've beaten Cleveland, who's a much improved team, who's a playoff team this season. So they're beating quality opponents during this winning streak. So to me, they have to be taken seriously. And at minus 2 in the first half, I think that line is a little bit short for a team that's playing as well as they are. The line opened at 3 and it's gone down to 2 across the board. I'm not really sure why this money's coming in on Minnesota in the first half. Not to say that they're bad, but Memphis has been a good first half team, not only during this streak, but for the entirety of the season. So for me, this is a sharp look. Unless there's something I'm missing. I was hoping you guys were going to say something that I'm missing. I haven't heard it. So I really like this play tonight. Official, like a referee with a whistle. So unless you guys got anything else, I really want to hear your thoughts on this Clippers-Pelicans game. I'll kick it to Kyle first, but I'll give my thoughts real quick because I don't have anything official. Pelicans kind of have the Clippers number, which is a super weird thing. And the thing is, when they beat them both times, Paul George played in those games. Now the Pelicanos are actually pretty healthy. They put up like a $120 something against the same Minnesota team we just talked about the other day. And again, Minnesota's defense is much better than what we've become accustomed to. So I think at 3.5, I'd be on the Pelicanos here, honestly. I don't think the Clippers are more than 3 points better than too many teams in this league right now. Yeah. The way they look. Yeah. The problem for me, though, The problem for me is the laying of points. Now, as good as the Pelicans look, I can't do it. Once it goes over 3, you kind of lost me. I'm kind of out. So I can't really get involved in this game because of the number. The number is just too sharp for me.
Yep.
I think it's actually perfect. And so is the total. The total just happens to be the average score of an NBA game, which is 215 points. I know it opened at 218, but it's been steamed down to about 215. I even see some 214s out there, 214 and a half. So, what's up? What you got?
You're right. This number is sharp. The line is sharp. And look, can we really take a team that's under 500 at home, 11 games under 500 on the season? They're, won 5 out of their last 10. We're taking them as, 2 possession favorites over anybody. It's really tough. Now, the Clippers have problems. The Clippers are, it's musical chairs with their starting 5, with their rotations. They don't really have an identity right now. All of a sudden, Amir Coffey is playing huge minutes and giving you huge production. That's not a recipe for success in the NBA. That's not a good thing here. It would be Pelicans or nothing for me on this one, but for me, it's a stay-away spot. I will say this. There's one prop that I like quite a bit. Josh Hart over 13.5 points, minus 120. He's a huge part of that offense. It's crazy to see you think, okay, it's going to be Brandon Ingram, it's going to be Jay Val, etc., Devontae Graham. No, Josh Hart has been a huge part of the offense, over 13.5, minus 120. When you sort of look at what he's done against this Clippers team, first of all, they allow the 5th most fantasy points to opposing shooting guards in the NBA. In his last 3 games against the Clippers, nothing less than 30 fantasy points. In fact, his last 2 are 42 and a 35. His last 5 games overall, last 4 games overall, 3 of those 4 over 30. High usage rate, over 20%. I think Josh Hart hits over 13.5 points. That's the way I would approach this game. But you're right, the numbers are just too sharp for me. If you want to take the Pelicans, I would do first half or first quarter, get that under 1 possession. I'm not sure I can trust them by 2 possessions for a full game.
Yeah, Kyle, you just said it, man. I got a strong lead at Pelicans first half line. I can't do it just because I don't want to get, like you said, it's just when you look at their team and then you look at the fact you have to lay points, it's just not something you get excited about. But the Clippers have just been atrocious lately in first halves. Their last 5 games, they're only averaging 93 points per 100 possessions and giving up like 114 in that regard. I mean, they've just been getting dominated in first halves lately. And you're right, personnel advantage-wise, you probably lean slightly towards the Pelicans in this, all things considered, which is, yeah, I mean, with all the Clippers injuries, it's not surprising, but at the same time, I mean, that's just a testament to like not only Brandon Ingram, but it's guys like Josh Hart, like you mentioned, it's guys like Valanciunas and Devontae Graham and Herb Jones and all these other guys that have just kind of either been kind of good pieces that have been playing well, or just guys you never heard of that are coming out and playing really well as well. So at home, yeah, got to lean towards the Pelicanos here, but I can't get there. I want to get there. I'm thinking about getting there, but I haven't gotten there yet, and I just don't think so. But that minus 21 net rating over their last 5 first halves for the Clippers looking like a mighty fine fade here in this position. It's just I just don't know if I'm going to get there, Junior.
Yeah, I mean, the way the Clippers look, it makes this so much trickier than it needs to be because it seems obvious that I would take the points with the Clippers once it gets to 3.5. I just don't trust them right now. And again, it's very weird the way the Pelicans have had their number so far. So it's a complete stay away for me. This last game, I don't have anything on it either. I'll kick it over to you, Jordan. I would like to get involved in the Nuggets, but 8.5 points with this team right now. I know Portland's really bad, but it's just too many for me. It's 3 possessions. You can count me out. There's no chance I'm getting involved in that.
Yeah, this is a very tough game, spread and total wise, to get involved in. I will say this, like the Blazers with Damian Lillard coming out now and having surgery. I mean, we've talked about this all year, but the white flag is, if it hasn't been raised, it's going up the flagpole right now. Like and they're revving up the engines of those tanks, but. For this game and specifically, yeah, I'm not touching the Nuggets with a 10-foot pole either. I will say this, though. And I hate narrative street prop betting. I really don't. I try to be as much about the numbers when it comes to prop betting as I can. But the numbers and the narrative street kind of both say that Jokic could have a huge game here tonight going against his old buddy Yusuf Nurkic. If you don't know the history of those two, just Google it. Yep. But, I mean, last year in the playoffs, I think out of like 6 games, Nurk had more than 30 points in 5. Or sorry, Jokic had more than 30 points in like 5 of them, and he's pretty consistently beaten up on Nurkic, big brother kind of little brother style, ever since Nurk was traded all those many moons ago from the Nuggets. And a little bit of extra juice for both of them tonight, because like other than those two, like who's going to score for either team? I know Will Barton's back for the Nuggets, which is definitely a plus for them. But yeah, maybe Jokic to score 30 or more tonight, I think is with a little bit of a little bit of extra money on your side with that one, because I think his prop total is like 24.5, shaded towards the over. So if you're getting him to score 30 plus tonight, you're probably getting that at or close to 2-1. So maybe a half unit play on that tonight, just thinking that he's going to get a ton of usage and want to teach old brother Youssef a lesson here. But other than that, I don't think I'm going to touch this game. Kyle, what do you got on this one?
Yeah, and just to your point, I mean, his last 3 fantasy totals, if you're just taking fantasy points, 78, 53, and 49 against Portland. And you're right, they were on the same team together. They had to decide, right? We can keep Jokic or Nurkic, both very talented guys. They shipped off the Bosnian Beast. For me, the only way I'm betting Denver is maybe the first half, get this under 2 possessions. Portland is so bad. I sort of like the under 108.5 in that first half as well. Over here on BetMGM, the line has moved to 10.5, Denver as a favorite. So I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. There's absolutely no way. And you're right, Denver's tough to figure out. But Portland hasn't just put the white flag. It's not a white flag. It's the white tighty whities. They're the nerd in the locker room. They got their underwear ripped off. It's tied to the flagpole, and it's at the top. Portland is done. Stick a fork in them. And it won't be long before Damian Lillard's saying, look, while I'm hurt, get me the hell out of here. I don't want to play for this coach. I'm tired of this city. I'm tired of this team. They're done. It's Denver, nothing for me. I do it first half minus 5.5. Get this under 2 possessions. The Jokic prop over here, over 24.5, minus 130, makes a ton of sense. Even the over 45.5 points, rebounds, and assists makes a ton of sense. It's going to have a ton of assists, ton of points. Could be a triple-double spot for Jokic tonight. Love those props. Another guy, if you're looking on the Portland side, 10.5 points for Robert Covington with no Norman Powell, no CJ McCollum, etc. Robert Covington needs to make some shots here. If he makes a couple threes, he should breeze past that 10.5 points.
Yeah, listen, it's one of those situations where I feel like if I start piling on the Blazers, it's almost like I'm punching down. I've been saying that they should be at this point for like 2 years. They waited way too long to blow this thing up. Now attrition has kind of forced their hand with Lillard being injured and McCollum's health issues. Before that, Nurkic could never really stay healthy. So it's been falling apart for a while over there on that side. They've managed to always kind of sneak into the playoffs, so it never looks as bad as it really is. But the reality is they're in kind of that no man's land where no team wants to be, where they're not really competing for a championship, but they're not bad enough to get good picks and get better. So you should probably expect a lot of changes around there. I wasn't investing in Portland Trailblazers games before. You better believe I will not be investing in Portland Trailblazer games right now. And as far as this game, 8.5 points to me with a Denver team that at best is inconsistent is pretty ridiculous, honestly.
Yeah.
The under might have some value here. Denver's defense and lackluster offense have been pretty consistent, so maybe that's worth a look. But I feel like it's a reach, so I'm staying off it. Unless you guys have anything else, let's recap these games. Recap these picks, the officials. Get these people some moolah in their pockets. Kyle, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, it's a game we didn't talk about. Look, Brooklyn on the back-to-back. There's kind of a short line against Oklahoma City for Brooklyn, too, 7.5. They're on a back-to-back. We'll see if everyone's a go. They should be. Like, you'd expect Kyrie to play. He's got to play every home game, whether it's a back-to-back or not. Those are the only damn games he can – or a road game, excuse me. He's got to play every road game, so he's not going to play at home. So they lose Kyrie Irving. Got a total of 218.5. Oklahoma City barely averages 100 points a game. They're the lowest-scoring team in the league. take Brooklyn after a high scoring. I mean, they scored 140 points last night, 138, 140 points last night. Cool down a little bit on the back-to-back, no Kyrie. I took the under 218.5. Now, I will say this. That's at minus 105 at BetMGM, so you have a good chance that number is going to go up throughout the day. The over 218 is minus 115, so the numbers look like you could get another point or two. So if you want to wait a little bit longer and get another point or two, I don't blame you there. But I see the under here. I don't see where the points come from Oklahoma City. And I think you see a reduced offensive effort on the back-to-back from the Nets. So I'll take the under 218.5.
Yep, I talked about this under 224 Warriors Bucks. I think we see hopefully a slower paced game in this one, and a lot of defense. Need a lot of defense tonight, and we'll see if we get George Hill back. Maybe that'll help that a little bit, Junior.
Yeah, I mean, both these teams always bring defense. I think this will be like I said, a full-fledged playoff atmosphere, but it's a big game for both teams. Anytime you play another one of the better teams in the league, it's always a measuring stick at the very least. These teams are only going to play each other twice per season. And I think that 224 is just a lot of points. And as for this Memphis game, -2 I think is a little bit short. Memphis has been really good in the first half, not only during this 10-game winning streak, but all season long. Obviously, the way that they've been playing right now, I'll take them in less than a possession and less than a full possession in any half, less than 2 in any full game situation. So I like this pick a lot. That's it for us today. Thank you for joining us as always. Make sure you check out BMR for my articles, Jordan's, Kyle's. Kyle does a football show, so make sure you check out the BMR YouTube channel for not only basketball, but any type of sport that you're looking to get some money in your damn wallet. We got you covered, fellas. And ladies, for those of you watching, because I know a couple ladies be watching us. A couple.
That's why I'm here. I bring the ladies.
For Kyle, for my guy Jordan, my name is Junior Browne. Same time, same place tomorrow. Thank you for joining us as always. Please like, share, and subscribe. We out.